everyone, I'm Natalia Bilbao, and here's what's happening in LA this week. Councilmember Paul Krikorian and members of the Sierra Club took to the steps of City Hall to announce the approval of the historic electric vehicle master plan. The EV master plan will support the increase of the city's fleet of electric cars and provide more infrastructure to maintain them. Here's that story.
Los Angeles, which led the automotive revolution of the 20th century, today is leading the automotive revolution of the 21st century.
The electric vehicle master plan is basically going to be a blueprint for how the city can transition off of gas and diesel and towards EVs.
The future of transportation in Los Angeles is electric, and the city is taking a huge leap forward today and beginning to prepare for that future by committing ourselves to planning not only the vehicle acquisition for the city, but how we build a charging infrastructure that works for all those city vehicles as well as for the general public. This really is the mark of the beginning of the next automotive revolution, which is the transition to electric vehicles.
The second part of today was a workforce agreement motion for the LA 100 City Clean Energy Plan. And this motion is going to ensure that workforce standards are applied to any sort of electrification, any sort of clean energy projects and EV infrastructure projects that we're doing that have high standards for workers.
The LA 100 study demonstrated that not only is our transition to clean energy entirely feasible, but it will create hundreds of thousands of new jobs in the process, good middle-class jobs. And that's the same idea with the EV master plan that we're approving today. This will also be a source of good union jobs throughout Los Angeles. We expect our transition to be complete, all city vehicles to move to electric by 2030. I serve on the board of Metro. Metro's entire fleet will be zero emission by 2030. You have to plan from now to ensure that that goal is a success, and that's what we're doing today.
The LA 100 Clean Energy Plan is a study exploring the goal of powering the city of Los Angeles from 100% renewable energy sources by 2045. Have you downloaded the MyShake app yet? It's just one of the many preparedness measures suggested by the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services. The office hosted an earthquake simulator at Union Station with the purpose of reminding Angelenos how critical it is for everyone to be prepared.
Today, we're trying to get out to the communities to do outreach on how to be earthquake safe. There are simple steps that everyone can take to actually prepare for the big one. Of course, we always stress the importance of an emergency supply kit. We want to be self-sustained for 72 hours or longer. Water, food, medicine, and last but not least, take protective action when an earthquake strikes. Drop, cover, and hold on.
Sismos son diferentes que cualquier otros incidentes naturales. Para incendios, tormentas, tenemos horas, días, hay veces hasta semanas. Pero para sismos, hay veces solamente tenemos segundos. Así que por eso estamos aquí.
Download the MyShake app, First State sponsored earthquake early alerting system, which will give you a few life-saving seconds to prepare for an oncoming earthquake.
Well, I mean, we always have our phones with us, and if that app is there constantly monitoring for this, I mean, I think that's the best way you can get an early warning and be prepared to do something before it gets worse.
Even the couple of 2 seconds that gives us a warning, it could help a lot.
So the simulator actually gives you the opportunity to simulate a real earthquake or something close to it. Once you enter it, you will find that it is a lot more jarring than you can sustain by standing up, which is the reason why we want to reiterate. When an earthquake strikes, you want to drop, cover, and hold on, because as you will be able to see, you will not be able to stand up.
Así que es muy importante recordar que en California, en cualquier momento, se puede registrar un sismo.
A new pilot program has been launched to help reimagine policing and emergency response. For this program, the LA Fire Department has teamed up with the LA County Department of Mental Health to offer a different approach to 911 calls related to mental health crisis. Here's a first look at this new team of first responders.
The Therapeutic Transportation program is a pilot program in collaboration with Los Angeles City Fire Department. The goal of the program is to provide services for those individuals that traditionally call 911, but they really don't need any medical assistance or there's no need for police. So the goal is for them to really be referred to our therapeutic transportation to get a mental health services when needed.
The program is designed to get dispatched from our dispatch center. It comes in the form of a 911 call, and if the patient is awake, alert, breathing normally, and is experiencing mental health crisis, we're able to send a therapeutic van out along with an EMS captain and either a paramedic or a rescue ambulance with them. So what it's designed to do is consist of 3 personnel. It's a driver, it's a licensed psychiatric technician, and a community service worker. What they do is get on scene and they talk to the patient, and if they meet the criteria of the checklist, they're able to get transported to the appropriate facilities where they get the help that they need.
Y el Departamento de Bomberos o la policía ha descubierto que realmente no es una necesidad médica ni que necesite la policía, sino que servicios de salud mental.
The therapeutic van is the white van you see out front there, is their form of transportation there. All 3 individuals get in there and they go respond to a call. When they return back, once they're done, they go back into the trailer and that's their home base. That's their way of catching up on paperwork and resting until the next call comes in. That's what that trailer's for.
What we're doing is something different by providing services with more dignity, less trauma, less stigma, and really bringing the mental health services that they need.
The 7th Street corridor from San Pedro to Figueroa is undergoing a streetscape renovation. This makeover includes more trees and green space for Angelinos that live and work in downtown LA. Take a look.
This project is a whole entire beautification of 7th Street, and this particular phase goes from San Pedro Street all the way to Figure 7. You can see that there's virtually very little amount of green space here, but the council member is adding 80 trees and also making sure that people can be mobile through the whole entire space. And creating this connectivity not only connects just people to places, but neighborhoods to neighborhoods.
This part of 7th Street is very desolate. It's also just gray concrete. It's terribly uninviting. And yes, we have people living on the sidewalks, but we also have people working and living in these buildings, and all of them deserve a better street. When you repair the sidewalks, that makes a huge difference for people with wheelchairs and walkers. And a lot of people who live in Skid Row are disabled.
This project will strengthen and increase safety for the housed and unhoused community members in Skid Row and for our Skid Row workforce.
It's going to make it easier for people to enjoy downtown from the arts district to the financial district.
You know, if we make it beautiful, then more people will be outside enjoying the streets. Downtown is a beautiful place. It's very vibrant, and we are welcoming you, and we hope that you can come to see us and to visit us.
This year, the end of April marks 30 years since the LA riots. And in recognition of the tensions that flared between different communities, the Korean community of Los Angeles has kicked off a month-long event focused on bringing awareness and unity. The Serve, Advocate, Inspire, Give, Unite campaign aims to build bridges between all Angelinos. Here's more on that story.
The LA riots that happened 30 years ago was definitely a tragic situation that really, again, pitted communities against one another. It was a total failure of leadership and service and protection. And for the Korean community who was caught in the middle, there was no acknowledgement of the Korean community's experience. in Korean language. Saigu, which means 4 to 9 or April 29, is the date the riots broke out. Today, as we announce the launch of our Saigu campaign, we are proud to reclaim the word Saigu to commemorate the 30th anniversary of the LA riots.
I'm here not just as mayor of Los Angeles, but as an Angelino who saw what happened to our city when we have the divisions, the misunderstanding, the injustice, to remind us that we have to heal those wounds. We also have to invest in making sure they never come about again.
It's important that the city of LA learns that no matter what happens to anyone in any part of LA, we cannot take the law in our own hands. 30 years ago, we had the worst civil unrest in the history of the nation. It was one of the darkest days in our country. But 30 years later, we have to learn how to have unity and learn to have healing and come together as one LA.
It was something really tragic, but at the same time, it was a very proud moment in the sense that 3 days after the event, over 100,000 Koreans came out to the streets to say we want peace. And it was not a vengeance or revenge, but about peace. As we stand in solidarity with a coalition of diverse leaders, we aspire to continue our work of building bridges of understanding, lifting, and honoring the best of what LA has to offer and can be.
Es importante recordar el progreso, pero también recordar las acciones que necesitamos tomar para traer esta visión en realidad a Los Ángeles. Con esta coalición, yo tengo mucha confianza en Los Ángeles y la gente de Los Ángeles a traer esta visión en realidad.
And I think when we can come up with better discussions, better solutions, I think we could be a better, stronger city. I think there are a lot of myths, unfortunately, that we tell of other communities that pit us against one another. And I truly hope that through the Saigu campaign, we could break down some of these myths and build better and stronger relationships.
City Council and the LA Alliance for Human Rights announced the settlement of the lawsuit addressing homelessness in LA. The settlement requires the city to provide approximately 14,000 new beds to unhoused individuals over the next 5 years.
I am proud that the city has stepped up, and I am proud that the city has committed to building a minimum of 14,000 beds and has over 13,000 beds in the process already.
The goals outlined in the settlement will have federal judicial oversight to ensure that the terms of the agreement are achieved. City Council also stated that many additional responsibilities belong to LA County, which has not settled its portion of the lawsuit. LA County District Attorney Gascon held a press conference to appeal to the public to help with unsolved homicides in LA.
In order for us to hold people accountable for their actions, we must be willing to do more to help law enforcement solve homicides in our community.
Joined by local faith leaders and families of those killed, Gascon asked for those with information to report it to the DA's office. Gascon acknowledged the many reasons such as fear and distrust that may contribute to the reluctance to report information to the police.
We have to realize that we have a responsibility to one another when we see something to say something.
To report information on unsolved homicides, visit lapdonline.org/contact-us or email the DA's office at info@da.lacounty.gov. Hollywood Forever Cemetery was recently designated a historic cultural monument by unanimous City Council vote. The designation emphasizes preservation, requiring the city to review and approve alterations or demolition to a property. Founded in 1899, the cemetery is the burial place for many early cinema stars, such as Judy Garland, Douglas Fairbanks, and Rudolph Valentino. In addition to being a place of internment, the cemetery hosts community events, including Dia de los Muertos and summer film screenings.
This next story is extraordinary. That's right. The LA Police Department has scrambled together fun and games with toys and barbecues to bring families across Council District 7 the 2022 Great Spring Eggstravaganza. See what I did there?
Today we are having our free event for the community. It's our Spring Extravaganza. This is happening because we want to provide this for the community that we work in and that we're a part of here. We like to bring other resources in, and that way so that the community can come together and just have a great time here at the park and enjoy the festivities. Today we're going to have an Easter egg hunt. We're going to be raffling off Easter baskets, as well as we have booths with games where they can play, win prizes. Also, we're going to be having raffling off prizes throughout the whole day.
Estos eventos son muy buenos porque recuerden, después de tanto encierro, esto a los niños los vuelve a regenerar, a estar en la sociedad.
I think it's great for the community and it brings everybody together, and the kids especially. I think it's fun.
So this will be LAPD and the community coming together in hopes of bonding and cohesion together, and that way they see us out here with them, sponsoring them, bringing everything for them. Everything that we do here is for the community and for them. Just come on out to our event, and we're here for you. We're here to serve the San Fernando Gardens and the communities that surround it in Pacoima.
The family events continue in Council District 15. The Department of Recreation and Parks teamed up with the Cabrillo Marine Aquarium to host LA Family Night. The event was filled with learning, tactile activities, and a main attraction that will blow your mind. Check this out.
Today we're really super excited to have LA Family Night at the Aquarium, and we think it's going to be a great day where people get to come and see what we're all about.
We're going to see some amazing whales to scale, actual size, and that's super exciting. The community is going to be able to go into the aquarium, do the touch tanks, see films, and then tonight we'll be doing the Grunion Run right on the beach.
We love the Cabrillo events. They're family friendly. They always have great crafts, and so we're excited to come back.
We're members. We help to support the Cabrillo Marine Aquarium. We're just so happy to help and give back to the community that we live in, and we're here to see the beautiful display of the whales. The whales are handicapped accessible, so everybody can go inside, and we are the only aquarium on the West Coast that has these creatures. I have a feeling that they're gonna go other places as soon as people see this amazing thing, but we're the very first.
After the lockdown and everyone can get out and it's in nature and you get fresh air, you don't see any of the kids on their iPads or phones. Everybody's actually playing like they used to, and it's easily accessible.
Come out and enjoy the Cabrillo Marine Aquarium. It's free for you and your families, and enjoy your LA City parks.
Fun fact, the Grunion Run is the massive nighttime spawning phenomenon of the Grunion fish. The run happens along the California and Baja California coasts between the months of March and August. Nature's pretty cool, huh? Well, it may be mating season for the hundreds of Grunions on the Cabrillo shore, but for thousands of high school juniors and seniors, it's prom season. So the city attorney's office has once again partnered with LAPD Mission Division for the Prom Closet event. Take a look.
So we are throwing our Prom Closet event. This is our 4th annual event that we throw as the city attorney's office along with LAPD. We put together this event to help out students in our local area to get prom attired. So we have gathered donations to help our low-income students in the Valley to be able to attend prom without thinking of cost and consideration of expenses.
Well, working together with the city attorney's office, who brought this wonderful event here to the station,
And we're just happy to help because I run the cadet program here, so I work with a lot of families, a lot of our youth in the community. We have great relationships with them, so I know how needy our families can be right now, especially times are so rough. So this stuff can be expensive for them, and we're just glad that they can come here and get this stuff for free.
Este evento es para hombres y para mujeres. Hay trajes, hay vestidos, hay zapatos. Todo es para los jóvenes de la comunidad de recursos bajos.
I think it's a great idea that we come here, we get blessed with some clothes for our high schoolers. I think it's a good idea to donate to the community so we can help one another and be blessed by these clothes for them.
I'm happy that things like this actually exist because a lot of people need help. And for those teens who actually don't have enough money to even afford things like this, it's good that people are, doing charity work like this.
We hope they can find what they need and make it easier on the parents, specifically because times are harder now with coronavirus and a lot of people getting laid off. We really needed this right now for the community members, families.
Ensuring all completed construction work in the city is code compliant is just some of the hard work construction inspector Yolanda Rock does. In our feature story this week, Rock talks to us about women in this field and gives Channel 35 a tour of one of the projects she's currently working on.
The work I do for the Bureau is I perform inspections within the public right-of-way. I also verify, quantify work that has been completed by a contractor, which will allow them to request payment for the work that they've completed. I am ultimately responsible for ensuring that the safety of the pedestrians and workers are established and maintained at all times. I think there might just be a misconception of not understanding that there are women doing this job, and we come from diverse backgrounds, different experiences. So I don't know so much if it's a myth, but maybe just a not knowing the caliber of ladies who are participating in this career management field. Our Bureau, Contract Administration, we compose of 13 female inspectors. We are present, engaged, and we are affecting change in the city, and we are growing in the city. We're expected to continue to be a presence in the city. This is a prime example of one of the projects that I'm very proud of to have been involved in. We are part of helping the city grow, and it also gives ladies exposure to the public so they can see, oh yeah, we got ladies out there doing this. Anytime that I can get out and affect a positive change on behalf of the city and myself, it's a good project for me.
It is an historic gateway that has been in the works for over 20 years. And now the Filipino-American community finally has a gateway in Council District 13 dedicated to its unique heritage.
We're here on Beverly Boulevard at the eastern entrance into historic Filipino town, where we will be installing the long-awaited historic Filipino town Eastern Gateway, which has been an idea for about 20 years, and we're so excited that it's finally happening. This is the largest monument of its kind in our country to the Filipino or to the Filipino-American community, and so I think it'll be an enormous source of pride, in addition to obviously being very beautiful. Going back about 2 decades, so many people in the historic Filipino town community have worked really hard on this, helped to imagine this. It's been a collaborative process from the very beginning. All of the symbols on the archway are important in Filipino culture, and were chosen very deliberately for that reason. This community is so incredibly deserving of such beautiful recognition like this, an important and beautiful reminder of the amazing diversity that we find in the city of Los Angeles, and especially the amazing contributions that the Filipino community brings to Los Angeles.
It really symbolizes this Filipino-American experience, at least in our family. Like, my parents came over 50 years ago.
This is the Philippines, our land of beauty, rich in age-old customs, teeming with 20th century progress.
My father and my mother worked in immigration law, and when they first arrived, they came with not a lot, and so for them to build a life here and to provide a life for our family, for my brother, for me, and like this arch shows that we have a foot in the American identity, and that we've contributed to the American cultural experience. Oftentimes the Filipino experience or the Filipino contributions haven't necessarily been recognized. So for the city to highlight that, look, we're here. It shows that everyone's welcome and everyone can have the opportunity to contribute the gifts that they have.
This is really a symbol from the city of Los Angeles to all communities saying that you belong here and you're welcome.
The Los Angeles Public Library invites you to Dia Twinkle Time at the Vermont Square Branch Library. Join the children's pop music performance group Twinkle Time and Friends as they celebrate Dia, the nationally recognized initiative that emphasizes the importance of literacy for all children from all backgrounds. This live-action bilingual and educational event is designed for preschool to elementary kids, but the whole family is invited. Free books will be given out to all who attend. Dia Twinkle Time is an outdoor event happening Thursday, April 21st, beginning at 4 p.m. For more information, visit lapl.org/events. Angels Gate Cultural Center invites you to check out the newest artworks to kick off the San Pedro 2022 Back Bounce Bounce Back event. Enjoy the new exhibit Bluesbirds by Steven Special and his students at Loyola High School. The showing presents an immersive installation celebrating Black music innovators. The San Pedro 2022 Back Bounce Bounce Back event featuring Bluebirds is open for viewing now through June 4th at the Angels Gate Cultural Center. For more information on gallery hours and admission, visit angelsgateart.org. Join the LA Public Library for a conversation with Linnell George. Ms. George will be discussing her book, After Image, Los Angeles Outside the Frame. Linnell George is an award-winning Los Angeles-based journalist, essayist, and author. Her work explores social issues and human behavior as well as urban histories, music, and literature. Her work, After Image, Los Angeles Outside the Frame, is a multi-year contemplation about the arts, culture, and social issues of Los Angeles with an emphasis on the city of LA and current and former Angelenos. Be sure to check out A Conversation with Linnell George, happening Thursday, April 21st at 4 p.m. For the Zoom link, email eden@lapl.org. And that's a look at some things to do.
And that's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org, and we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.